Are we there yet? Your stream always starts early.
So good morning, everyone, and welcome to TCA. My name's Christian.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Andy.
So we are live on Facebook and YouTube, as always, Andy. And so it's Tuesday morning. Every Tuesday we come to you live here from Weinig, Holz-Her, USA, here in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Yeah, a little bit of activity going on this morning, it sounds like. So
I think we're actually...
Please excuse the fork truck that's driving around over there.
We're actually moving a machine into our showroom right now, and so you might see it in the background. It might get a little noisy, so
yeah.
Sorry about that. So they're making all kinds of racket over there. All right, so Andy, well, let's get started. So in recent news in South Carolina,
news of the day.
News of the day.
News of the day.
This
doesn't
is
have anything to do with our industry. If you know, last year was what it was. We were having all sorts of things, but at some point when we started having these drive-through testing facilities, it was common at least in the South, where people were saying if we could just let Chick-fil-A handle this, we would be able to
for testing of COVID.
For testing of COVID,
testing of COVID, right?
We get people through the lines. Well,
because here in the South, Chick-fil-A, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. If you've been through a drive-through, I know that they've expanded beyond the Southeast. But if you've been through one of their drive-throughs, you can get through a very long line very quickly. And so just this morning, I heard a report that in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, if you're not familiar with the area, it's just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. The mayor was friends with the local franchisee of Chick-fil-A.
All right. Yeah.
And they had set up a location for drive-through vaccinations. And they were struggling, with the vaccine. It can only be, once it's punctured, you have to use it in a certain amount of time or you have to throw it away.
All right.
So that's been one of the issues, is that some of the vaccines are being wasted because they can't use it in time. So they're trying to speed up the process of people getting through the line. And it was common for people to have to wait an hour in this line. So he called his friend at the local Chick-fil-A and said, "Hey, we need your help. I mean, when I want a Chick-fil-A sandwich, it doesn't take me an hour to get through that line." And so he teamed up, they worked together, and they brought the Chick-fil-A staff over to work this drive-through vaccination spot. And they got the times down from an hour to 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes to get your vaccination now. And so now they are working, the mayor is working with Chick-fil-A to help with training, so their people can be trained better to speed this process up. We're going to see more of that going on in South Carolina. Maybe it'll stretch across the U.S. and that'll be a thing that we can do to help everyone get vaccinated much more quickly.
So proof that fast food is actually healthy.
It's healthy. Fast food can be healthy.
So hey, in other more focused news that relates to us in our industry, some of you may have seen on social media recently. We posted just earlier this week about the WCA. So just wanted to give a shout out to the WCA. We were, Weinig Holz-Her was able to renew our support this year of the WCA. The WCA is the Woodworking Career Alliance, and it's just a great educational organization that
we
really
talked
promotes,
about that last week, right? We really want to promote education of our industry.
That's right.
And they're doing exactly that. So,
that's right.
Great organization.
Great organization. It's been in the industry since 2007, I believe, and we're extremely proud that we can partner with them and help build that respect, that awe, if you will, in the younger generation about our industry. So, yep. So just wanted to give a shout out to the WCA. You guys, a lot of respect. A lot of respect for everybody who's involved in that organization and all the community colleges around the U.S. that take part in it. It's great. They do work with obviously community colleges, but also with high schools as well. So
that's great. That's great.
Yep.
Before we get into a little more industry news, I do have to give a shout out, and I apologize, I won't try to pronounce this name, but we have someone watching from Thailand this morning.
Thailand this morning. All right.
And then, of course, Mr. Bodo from Long Beach and Jason Nafis up in Indiana. Good morning to all of you. I'm not sure what time it is in Thailand, but it's probably good evening in Thailand.
All right. Probably is.
Yeah.
Probably is. So, Andy, what's going on in the building sector this week?
Okay, so, CNBC is reporting this morning that, of course, the home building continues to surge.
Yep.
They are contributing some of that to all of the things we've been talking about, people getting out of cities, things like that. But our mortgage rates are at the average rate, as reported by Freddie Mac, is 2.79%.
Yeah, money's still cheap right now.
Cheap right now.
Money is still cheap right now. It's time to invest.
Time to invest in housing, but really, I mean, that's not just a reflection of a cheap mortgage rate, right? It's going to be anything that you're borrowing money for. It's going to be less expensive right now. Money's cheap. Time to if you need something, time to spend.
Time to invest, and time to invest in your operations. We've been saying that for almost a year now. It's absolutely time to invest in your operation. Whether that's, revamping your shop floor, investing in new machinery, or replacing old machinery, or even maintaining machinery. Yeah. This is the time to invest.
Because there's a wave coming. I mean, it's not going to for our industry
if
for
it
sure.
hasn't hit you yet, it will.
It's not predicted to slow down. The housing starts we've been reporting, they're thinking they're going to be up 12.5% for single family homes.
Right.
I was just reading an article about multifamily, because we tend to leave that out because the single family has been so big.
It's been so strong recently.
It's been so strong,
yeah, sure.
And multifamily was off a little bit through the early and mid part of 2020, but the reports now are showing that in December they had a 24% increase for multifamily starts. So if you're in the multifamily business, you're probably seeing it already. You're probably starting to get some calls. Maybe some of those apartment complexes that had been put on hold are ramping back up.
Kind of making up for lost time.
We're seeing it here. They're building it like crazy in the Charlotte region of North Carolina.
Yep.
So yeah, lots of good things that are happening. The only thing, so I know I've mentioned before, I am self-aware that I am oftentimes overly optimistic.
We like to say overly optimistic.
Overly optimistic, and I don't always convey things that might not be as optimistic. I do have to mention that for the first time this week, the home builders have their confidence level had dropped. But we were at all-time high for months and months and months, and it dropped a little bit. They're saying the only thing they can contribute that to when asking some of these builders is because the material prices haven't come down.
The material prices actually keep going up. Softwood lumber right now is up. I think it's up 50%.
52% right now is up. Yeah. So and there's a lot of softwood that goes into building projects.
Absolutely.
Outside of our industry, they were commenting in some articles that I was reading recently that 2020 another bright spot in the construction industry was infrastructure. Bridges and roads. That was up, and we'll see if that continues. I didn't hear a lot about that during 2020, and I'm not sure how we missed that, because it was a really big deal. But so the infrastructure has been up in 2020. Hopefully you're driving on a little bit of a smoother road now than you were before. I know that doesn't seem to be the case west of Williamson Road in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Oh, but I will say this: I don't drive it much anymore because I moved. But if they finally changed up that interchange up in Statesville, with 77
with all the
and 40,
flyovers,
there you go. That's right. So yeah, a lot of good things happening in our industry and in various other construction-based industries. We did make mention material cost is on the rise. That is I guess maybe a cause for pause. Maybe not concern, but at least pause.
I don't even think pause, really, because with interest rates as low as they are, I mean, it's changing the average house. The average house might cost $30,000 more. And when you're thinking about if the average house is in the $250,000 range, and it's $30,000 now is going to be affected, but your interest rate's 2.79%. I don't know that you feel that so much over the lifetime of a 15 or a 30-year loan.
Maybe not. So we always say this, and we'll say it again this week, is that all of this relates to our industry because so much of the woodworking industry goes into to new construction, whether it's flooring or actually softwood milling for the actual framing, whether it's molding, millwork, cabinetry, etc. There's so much that goes into it, and so many of you watching us in the woodworking industry have some piece of that pie going into some type of construction. So it's good news for us. It's good news for our industry. The woodworking industry remains strong. In fact, Andy, I was just reading today on Woodworking Network that we see another event of reshoring furniture. So a Chinese furniture manufacturer investing $45 million in Georgia, actually in Winder, Georgia, close to my hometown, and hiring 205 people for this manufacturing plant. So that's good news for reshoring furniture.
That's absolutely good news. And you wonder sometimes, you know, we had the opposite happening where everything was going to China, right? A lot of our manufacturing was going to China.
We did, yeah.
And now actual Chinese manufacturers are coming to the U.S. Now, I'm sure they have their own reasons. I have to suspect it's a lot because people are buying here right now and they want to get a little closer. If they can manufacture here, they probably don't have to pay the same tariffs. But for whatever reason, you know, to hire 200 people in a small town, what was the name of the town?
Winder. It's not small. Every way from Winder. Oh. Don't worry. Andy just doesn't know. It's all good, man. But yeah, it's exciting having having manufacturing jobs come back to the States. But also now we also have to think about it though in relation to, and we've talked about this, is our labor pool. So the labor pool here in the U.S. continues to be kind of, in our industry, continues to be kind of, I guess you would say, pinched.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
that's a good way to put it.
And plants are still looking for highly automated systems. That still is in the forefront of most manufacturing environments right now, is how can we automate processes so that we are not requiring human engagement, human handling.
Yeah. I mean, we mentioned it before, you know, our industry is absolutely looking for automation out of a necessity. They still want to hire people. One of our good customers up in Pennsylvania, I don't know if we mentioned before that they actually they put a career center right in the downtown area of their city.
Is that right? Where
they're just, you know, trying to attract people to come and work in the wood industry at their facility up there. So we have companies in our industry that are really trying to hire, but they're struggling. And if they can't hire people, you know, in this case, they're supplying Lowe's and Home Depot with a lot of product. And so they have a certain amount of volume that's only going to go up because of what we've been talking about on the TCA. And so how do they continue to maintain levels, but even increase levels without automating? You know, at some point, you know, you can only try to get to hire for a certain amount of time, and then you just have to figure out how to do it with the people that you've got. That's
exactly right. You know, I think it's one of those things where automation, much like most things in manufacturing, it's an array. It's a scale where, I mean, there are facilities that are lights out manufacturing, right? That are actually manufacturing and really nobody's there. But then, you know, for most shops, automation is, well, how can we just do this one step a bit better? How can we maybe...
It's the non-value added processes, right?
Processes.
It's the simple process.
Can we
it's
take
cutting
people
the
out of those and put them into value added?
Right, so it's shifting. It's shifting the labor to a place where we're adding value. There's a reason, I used to say this all the time to customers, there's a reason that your customers buy from you. And it's probably not because you can cut a straight line, because most of your competition can also cut a straight line.
That too.
So there is a reason that they buy from you, and there's a value that you provide them that your competition doesn't provide. So what we're doing by automating, we can automate those cutting of straight lines and take those people, because it is an art form. It takes a skilled person to cut a straight line. Take that skill and put it somewhere where it's adding value to your product, and let's take let's do the non-value added stuff and let's automate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think manufacturers out there, this probably rings true to a lot of folks. If anyone in the CMA is the Cabinet Makers Association is watching this morning, probably rings true to you. I know that that's what that organization is really about, which is take your talent and drum up more business, put it into actually expanding your business, and all that non-value added activity, automate it, or in many situations, outsource it to folks that are better at performing it, right? So anyway, automation, key for manufacturers, continues to be key. Especially in this environment.
Yeah. In this environment, things are growing. Volume is going to go up. We got to automate so we can keep up.
Absolutely.
Let's say hello. We got a couple people that have chimed in. Dan Hirschberger is sent us I guess that's a hand waving emoji that he sent to us here.
Andy's not up with all the emojis.
I'm not up with the lingo. I do have some teenage sons. Well, one is a teenager, one is just turned 12. Carlos out in California, another wonderful Tuesday. And Mike Sigmund using his German language, since we are a German company, saying Guten Tag.
All right. Yes. All right. So good morning to everybody watching. If you're just joining us, we are on TCA Live. Drop us a comment if you want to get engaged in the discussion here with Andy and I. We come live every Tuesday, 9 a.m. From Weinig, Holz-Her, USA, which is in Mooresville, North Carolina. So 9 a.m. Eastern Time every Tuesday morning. So what's going on? And normally we like to, I'll talk about what's going on in a minute, but normally we like to talk about, you know, the industry, what's happening in the industry. Andy shares his overly optimistic point of view. Yeah. And then we like to tell everybody what's happening here in Mooresville here at Weinig Holz-Her USA. So what's going on here this week? Well, yesterday was kind of a really big day for us here. We had basically basic training, we called it.
Right.
Basic training on our product, on some of our product groups. We continue the basic training throughout the week this week.
So, but let's pause for a second, because this is another key indicator of our industry.
Yeah.
We're holding basic training. We did it yesterday. We're going to do it again on Friday for new salespeople to our industry. Now it doesn't mean that that's the only ones that attended, but we've had a lot of our agents and our dealers out there in our sales partners out in the sales channel that have hired new people because they're seeing the need to.
Sure,
they got to cover their territories better. So I think that's another indicator. When we have our dealers telling us that they're hiring new people, we announced it not too long ago that Jason Nafis at Hoosier was looking for somebody in Tennessee.
That's right.
You know, as our dealers are starting to hire more people, that's also a good indicator that our industry is strong.
It's a great indicator. So this week we're holding internal basic training classes, and now we do this from time to time. Last year I'm not sure if we did it last year, but I know 2 years ago we did it. But this year was a bit different because of various travel restrictions and our current environment in the age of COVID. Our basic training was held virtually.
Right.
And that's just something, and I'm wondering, for those of you watching this, I'm wondering how and if you hold trainings and or large presentations, how you guys do it. Because, man, we are, we're experimenting with all kinds of ideas here at Weinig Holz-Her all the time. And I think we're still trying to find that secret sauce, Andy.
Well, I think we're looking for how long is too long on a Zoom meeting, because yesterday those sessions were about 2 hours, and I felt like that was about the limit, right? Mm-hmm. Like maybe there was a lot of information. We had 2 sessions, and I don't think, for me anyway, maybe for others it was different, but there were 67 or 70 people on the meeting, but it felt like it was just the right amount of time, but maybe if it had gone longer, it would have just been too long. And we had some meetings a couple of weeks ago that were 4 hours long. Some of the beginning of the year meetings, and that was too long.
So I'm interested. If you're a manufacturer out there, many manufacturers, you have dealer bases, you have and you had dealer events, whether they were factory tours and receptions or they were training events at dealer locations. I'm interested. How are you guys handling that now in the age of digitalizing events? How does that work for you? What kind of platforms do you use, and what kind of success have you had, and what kind of challenges have you had? I'm really interested. Well, actually, everybody here at Weinig is very interested. We try not to be in a bubble, right? We try to collaborate with our customers, with suppliers, and other people. And
it's so easy to get into a bubble right now, which is part of the reason why we've continued to do this broadcast here, because a lot of us are in a bubble, and so if we can shed some light on what's happening outside of our bubbles, then that's what we want to do.
That's right. That's right. So we continue our basic trainings for our agent network and our sales team this week at Weinig Holz-Her USA. We also, our showroom continues to be open. We also have some demos scheduled. Now, if you're interested in visiting our showroom, as you can see here behind us, we also have the front showroom, which has a lot of profiling machines. If you're interested in visiting us, please get a hold of your local Weinig Holz-Her rep and schedule a demonstration. We have people in all the time. we're not super keen right now on walk-ins, but
we can make it. We can certainly
make it work.
accommodate. If you are walking in, go back and watch the video that we had that shows how to get into the building, because we still have the automated.
We have all kinds of safety precautions in place.
and the door is locked when you get here because of a few reasons. But you can easily get someone you can talk to someone through the system, and they'll let you.
Better yet, give us a call, schedule an appointment, and we'll take care of you. You come in. We have. I'm looking over here. It's off the screen, but there are bunks and bunks of material.
Yep.
Ready for demo purposes. So come on in, make an appointment. Come on in, watch some material get run. We have the Cube Plus, which is back in our showroom. That's the 4-sided planer. So that got hooked up. We have the Evolution right behind us, which is I would say a crowd favorite because of its small footprint. And right behind that is the Store Master. You want to see the Store Master, retrieve panels, keep inventory straight for you. You can come in and see that.
Along the lines of that automating of non-value add processes.
Yep.
We had a huge surge of that in 2020. Actually, the Store Master solutions in general.
Yep. That's right. All right, so well, that's going to do it for us in Morrisville, North Carolina. Here, this video will be posted. If you guys have any comments, if you're watching this and we're not live, go ahead, post your comments in the feed there, and we'll monitor it. And yeah.
Right, we did the Q&A thing last week, but that doesn't mean that's the only time you can ask us questions. So
that's right.
Please put those questions in. We'll do our best to get answers back to you.
That's exactly right. We hope everyone has a terrific week. Stay positive and stay healthy.